Hi, I'm Gwen Smith,
And I am Crystal Smith.
and the topic of our show is Walking in the Faith. Our guest for today's show is Rhett Arcardo. Rhett is a parishioner of Our Lady of the Most Holy Rosary Catholic Church. Say hello, Rhett.
Hey, how y'all doing?
How you
All right.
feeling today, Red?
Fine.
It's a beautiful day, isn't it?
is.
It
Yes.
is. Okay. So, Rhett's Church is located on Esplanade Avenue, and most people call Rhett's Church Holy Rosary, and there's a story behind that name. Give us a history of your church.
Okay, the church was once a big estate right on Bayou St. John, and there it was donated by in like 1905 by this woman Sylvanie Blanc Denegray, and it was her mother's wish that their family home be donated to the church in order to build a parish. And part of the stipulation of giving the land to the Catholic Church would be that the church would be called Our Lady of the Rosary.
Okay, was she a rich lady, or she
Yeah,
just wanted
very
to
much so. Very much so.
Okay.
The family's interesting because, I mean, we've heard about like how the Pope's family, like he has some black ancestry,
Yes.
and stuff.
Right.
Sort of similar. That this is what I've heard from old parishioners when I first went there, is that it's an antiquated term, but that the family were quadroons, meaning
Yeah,
Okay.
you know what that means.
Right,
You're from New
one-
Orleans.
right.
Yeah.
But for people that aren't, it basically meant people that had 1/4 black genes or whatever. And so the family home is now the rectory, and it's a beautiful old building. Supposedly, they used to have quadroon balls there and
Wow.
stuff. So
Okay.
I would really like to get in touch with the person who looked up all that stuff on the Pope's ancestry and have them look up
Your
you know,
church's
right
information.
the family. So that just to confirm that they actually had quadroon balls there and stuff like that.
Okay, what I understand is the nuns, usually the family, takes care of the expense of a nun going through certain process, and it's paid for by the family. It is not paid for like an association of. The family usually foots the bill when the nun becomes a nun.
Oh.
Yeah, well, this person was not a nun.
No, I'm saying in reference to the nuns that I do know,
Oh, okay.
their families were the ones that when they became nuns, all the
is true.
expense was
Wasn't-
on the
It was
family.
incumbent upon the family.
So when the woman fulfilled her mom's request to give the family home as a part of to form a new parish, her mom's name was Marie, and she said that it has to be called Our Lady of the Rosary.
Okay.
Okay, let's give some background. When did you start attending Holy Rosary, and why?
Well, I started going there immediately after Hurricane Katrina. It was like it was like one of the only functioning churches in town.
Okay.
It was the closest one to my house, and just what was going on in my life was like,
You need to get to church, right?
yeah, I mean,
Okay.
just after everything was chaotic. Even finding food was difficult.
That is true.
So it was just all of that chaos, and I felt the need, and I had gone through a period of where I wasn't attending church, and people talk about like a long dark night of the soul where
Yes.
I just wasn't really feeling God in my life, but I wasn't feeling a presence. But afterwards, I was.
But what we have to understand is society puts a lot of constant bombarding us with so much that we really have to assess this information and understand we have to just take ourselves to the park or wherever and just think about the information and say, okay, this is what I need to do about the information, because you need a place of peace to go, and the church it offers that to people so that we can get away from whatever society. At one point it said that render to Caesar what is Caesar's and render to God what is God. So if we get a chance to get back away from everything that's in this world, and sometimes it's just chaos, not only during Katrina, I mean everyday life, everything that's being put upon the citizens in the United States at this point. Lack of jobs, don't know where your next paycheck is coming from. There's a lot of changes that we're going to have to go through, even dealing with Social Security. And I think they were saying some other information about the veterans, that they're going to be decreasing the money that they receive. So it's a lot of pressure again. It's not Katrina, but we're being bombarded with a lot.
Okay, that's true. So, Rhett, how was the atmosphere at Holy Rosary when you started attending there?
Well, talking about like looking for peace and quiet, that's what really attracted me. Because, okay, this is like really right after Katrina. There was no electricity in the church. There wasn't any electricity in the neighborhood.
Okay.
But even when the neighborhood came back online, all their electrical infrastructure was in the basement, was destroyed. So what I liked about it was how peaceful it was. And I started thinking, like, this is how people historically have experienced Mass. Like, the windows were open. You could feel breezes come in. There was no light except for candles.
It was hot, was it?
Yeah. Well, depending upon the season.
Yeah.
They didn't have electricity for quite a while, but that's what I really liked about it. It was just like a feeling of connectedness, to
the
past
spirit.
generations, and like this is how people really, for 2,000 years, basically experienced church.
That's good, because again, the topic of our show is walking in the faith, and Rhett is experiencing his walk with you in the faith via radio. And I hope everybody's paying attention. And if you are like down and out and you just need to get to some tranquil place, go to church, because that's the best way. You'll be at peace and everything. So we want to push everybody to kind of get a place of peace where you can just kind of level out and get back and zone back in to the Word and to God. And were your understanding of God differently at Holy Rosary? Could you explain that that experience? Was it different?
Yeah, it was just, even I would call it really supernatural. I just felt the presence of God, that, like, I sensed that, that I'm not alone, that God really cares about what's going on in your life. He really understands what you need.
He does.
And if you're open to receiving His graces, you'll get through whatever challenges there are in your life.
Prior to, you had spoken to us about a statue that's in the church, and you said it came from, is that correct, Jerusalem? Could you explain something more about that?
Well, it's called the Cavalry Group Monument. It's like life-size figures. It was there was a New Orleans priest who happened to be in charge of the area around Gethsemane in like the 1920s, and that's when the church building was built. He commissioned this statue, and it was made in Jerusalem.
Oh God! What? May I interject? I would just like to wonder what type of utensils did they use to even carve it at that time. We would have to research that too.
Probably.
And so, like, the wood is blessed from the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, and what I really like about it is that there's a rock like embedded in it.
Okay.
That from, it's called the Grotto of the Agony of Our Lord.
Oh my
Oh, God.
And it's a natural cave that is in the Garden of Gethsemane, and that's where the apostles fell asleep while Jesus was praying in the garden. And so this priest from New Orleans was actually in charge of this grotto, and he personally like carved a rock out of the grotto and had it embedded in the statue.
Well,
and
New Orleanians are talented anyway. But go
Right.
ahead with your story.
Yeah, and so the whole, and so you know, he commissioned the whole thing. I mean, shipped it to New Orleans, and that's personally my theory of why there's such a sense of peace at that church.
Oh.
It to me, you know, it's like all the.
Isn't
I
it
mean,
good?
they got a chunk of the Garden of Gethsemane.
Seminary.
there.
Right,
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah,
It
it has
was-
to have some kind of spiritual attachment, right?
Right.
Okay.
Okay, Rhett, why did you go from being a passive member, as I guess Gwen and I are sitting in the pew, to physically getting involved in the parish organization, namely the choir?
Okay. At the time, there were only a handful of people attending mass there. Like maybe half a dozen. I mean, people were just barely coming back to the city.
Oh Lord.
And Father Tarantino was the pastor, and he was just like, from the altar one day, he goes, "Hey, is anybody here that knows anything about music or cantoring or anything?" And I had been in a choir like a long time ago, so I raised my hand, and he was just like, "Okay, come on up here."
What are you talking about? In your Jesuit days? You
No,
were in the
no, no.
choir? No?
It was
Okay.
after that. I mean, I was like when I was in, say, mid-20s.
Okay.
So yeah, so he just said, "Anybody know anything about music?" I reluctantly raised my hand, and then I was like horrified that he goes, "Okay, come on up here."
We had a priest like, yeah.
I went up on the altar, and he's just like, "Okay, start cantering."
Oh.
And
No, but we had a priest like that. That was Father Rosso and Father McElroy at Holy Ghost.
Correct.
And nobody wanted to do the 7 o'clock mass in the
That
morning.
was the old people mass. Senior
That's what they call the
citizens
senior
mass.
citizen mass. And so he looks at us and he says, "I think you guys would be perfect."
He did.
He did.
He did.
And we started and we continued the mass for at least 2 years?
Yeah, and
We
the
were
name of
committed
the-
to it.
The name of the choir was the Smith Sisters Ensemble because it was just two of us, right?
Nobody wanted to get up. We had friends that would
Nobody.
come to 11 o'clock mass.
Right.
Nobody wanted to get up and be at church for 7 o'clock in the morning.
So that's a little bit about our walk of faith. So let's talk about
yeah, so that was really kind of the beginning of the choir. So like eventually the electricity came on.
Okay, good.
Like a few months passed, the electricity comes on. So he was like, "Okay, we'll just go up in the choir loft," and it was just people just started joining us.
that's good.
Great.
Like just and so I mean it was never like really even announced. It was just like people started trickling up, and then at Christmas time, I think they made an announcement that, hey, if anybody wants to sing Christmas carols, we're gonna do a Christmas choir,
Great.
and it was meant just for the Christmas season, but it just stuck. It's like, no, we don't want to stop. We want to keep going, and so and I think that's what makes our choir really nice is that the people really believe what they're singing.
Very
And
good.
I think that's the secret to the success is that you know we're not just performing. It's like we're
We're
witnessing
Right.
in a way.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like
You're
that.
right. That's a part of walking
And when you
in the
just
faith.
and you were saying about Christmas, what happened on Christmas morning in 2013, and how did that event affect your perception of life?
Okay, so we have this tremendous old-fashioned pipe organ, and what that means is that the air blows through the tubes, but you have what they call a bellows, which is like just a huge balloon to think of it, and so the air is pumped into the balloon, and then the balloon releases air through the pipes, but it's made out of leather,
Okay.
and it was dry rotted. And like, so right before Mass started on Christmas morning in 2013, it started leaking. And so our organist, his name's Tommy Zanka, he had previously patched it a little bit with like just duct tape, and so there was some duct tape on hand, and so they opened up the cabinet, and the organ's huge. So I crawled into the cabinet.
No, Rhett, you crawled into the cabinet.
Okay.
There's a picture. I can show you a picture.
Okay. All right.
I crawled into the cabinet, and it just kept. I was just duct taping the bellows. It kept. As soon as I would duct tape one spot, a hole would develop in another one.
Oh, Jesus.
And so, like, you know, it was just crazy. So, like, really, the entire Mass, I'm in this cabinet, just trying to patch the holes with duct tape.
Okay.
But what I'd say how it affected my thinking is that we always have to be ready for a change in plans. You know, I went there thinking I was contributing my voice, but I wound up not singing a note, but I was doing something, you know, that was necessary. And so the idea is just to always be open to, like, God's going to switch up the plan on you.
He does.
You just got to be open to adapting.
Let's talk about, you were saying something about there is a fun or event or a celebration is coming up. Let's talk about that.
Okay, so this is the 100th anniversary of the church building, not the parish. The parish had been going on for about 18 years before the building was finished. But so anyway, it's the 100th anniversary of the church building. We're having a big celebration. The choir is giving a concert. It's going to be on October 7th, which is a Tuesday, at 6 o'clock. And we're doing a bunch of music people probably have never heard of. It's all Marian stuff, since our church is about Mary. You know?
Yeah, of course, yes.
Right.
The Blessed Mother, yes.
And it'll be about an hour long. It's a combined concert, prayer service, but it's mostly music, and it's really beautiful stuff. We have a really hard-working choir. I mean, we practice throughout the year. We take the month of July off. Other than that, we practice an hour and a half every week, and like when we have big events like
that's dedication.
We're
dedication.
doing like 2 hour-and-a-half rehearsals a week, you know, for the next few weeks. So I just encourage people to come, because you just have to experience the choir and just the vibe at the church. It's
I like
awesome.
that.
And can you tell us that date again so that anyone who would be interested would remember?
Yeah, it's October 7th, which is a Tuesday at 6 o'clock.
And
it's totally free. Totally free.
Is there going to be a reception? Is there going to have refreshments? Or
yeah, afterwards, there's, I think, like a wine and cheese thing in the cafeteria afterwards.
Well, that's good to know, because New Orleanians always love some type of delight.
We love food. You have a telephone number for your church?
Yeah, if anybody wants to contact the church, find out what's going on, well, it's area code 504-488-2659. And you can just go to the website, just Google Our Lady of the Rosary, and you know, you can look up all the activities. And I encourage you to do that, because we have a lot of organizations. It's a very active parish. There's something that should appeal to everybody. Like, I could go over a couple of them if you want.
Sure, why not?
Go right ahead.
Okay, I mean, well, there's some prayer societies, the Holy Name Society, the Legion of Mary, and then there's a bunch of community organizations sponsored by the parish. There's a middle school youth ministry, a high school youth ministry, a young adult ministry, women's club, men's club, a meal ministry, the St. Vincent de Paul Society. They you know, like, bring presents to impoverished children around Christmas time.
That's great.
But they're active all year long. But that's probably their big thing. There's a Respect for Life group, a garden club. The the church goes. I think it's annual, but anyway, they often go to Haiti on a mission trip. And there's also a ministry for people struggling with sex addiction. So
There's a
there's amazing amount of activity there.
So that can be your walk.
And there's a choir.
That is great, of which you're in.
Yeah.
So that's a menu of organizations if you want to do your personal walk in life with God. You can go over and participate with these activities, and you can call the church, and they have like this bell that's malfunctioning or something, and you guys want to have people to call the priest to let them know if they want to donate.
Right. Well, just the organ really is a big fun. The bells working now.
Okay.
But what I think you're talking about is that during Katrina, when there was no electricity to ring the bells, parishioners climbed up and actually banged on the bells with their hammers.
Okay, yes, we did discuss that.
You know, just to let people know that God was still with them. That, hasn't forgotten their plight.
Okay, so I didn't know what was the fundraiser about specifically, but I did want to let people know that everybody has a walk in faith in life. Sometimes it's going to take a Katrina. Sometimes, we have families who have had people murdered, and they take another walk in life with church. So I'm going to give you a little story. My walk in life with church was that I am a NOCA graduate, New Orleans Center for Creative Arts. I am a lyric soprano. I had stopped singing, right? And then I met my alumni, whose name is Lark, and she was like, "Gwen, you need to start singing again." Right? So I was like, you know what? I need to start going back to church and even start singing. I was always in church, but I went to this new church, which is on Carrollton Avenue, and I was learning different music, and I was learning that music. We were singing that music. Is that correct? Right?
Right. That's where we met.
That music was difficult.
Yes,
and Rhett
it is.
was giving me the different pamphlets, showing me how to follow Crystal and I, how to follow the program, how to follow the music, because it was definitely difficult. So, Chris, what is your walk in life?
My walk in life would be after Katrina, because dealing with something we had never experienced, not having any police around, not having any of the safeguards that we would have in a society, and it was basically you on your own. And I think we have to flip that to today. There's so much coming at us that we have to rely upon the spiritual essence of God to try to get to the next level. We're going to be here, so therefore He will be with us, and He will give us guidance on what we're supposed to do in life. Because sometimes a friend of ours had to leave the state to get a better job.
That is true.
So when you know that God is with you, you can pick up and do what you need to do. Because if there was no employment, it's time to move on.
That is true. I also wanted to say that, in the backdrop, you guys don't see him. We have a little angel in here named Baron who came to support us. He's just smiling and what have you. Just to kind of help support the Smith Sisters talk show. Baron, if you just want to say hello, if you wish, and just tell people.
Hi, everybody.
All right, Baron.
My name is Baron. I'm trying to get them on the X so we can listen to them across the planet. So... high hopes.
Thank you.
And we will do it because Baron's here with us. He's a friend of Rhett's, and we're going to do this thing, and I'm glad that everybody is tuning in. So be conscious of your walk of faith.
And don't forget, the Smith Sisters show comes on WVOG 600.
6:30 until 7 p.m. each Saturday of the month.
And we're also on the internet.
We're on the internet, so tell people to tune in. Our shows have been interesting, and we have tech support here backing us up. So we're going to expand what we're gonna do. So, Rhett, you want to chime
Anything?
in?
Yeah. I just wanted to say too, if the choir mass that is 11 o'clock on Sundays. And also, I just want to say why it's important to be a member of a community and not just pray at home. It's because that's what Jesus said to do. He was like, where one or two, where two or more,
Two or more,
are gathered in my name, there I am. I mean, Jesus knows what's best for us. He's telling us, yeah, you're supposed to be in a community. And you know what? You really just learn to depend on other people. You know, you find out that other people have talents that complement yours. You know, you just might be incapable of doing something, but you meet people that can help you out.
That is
vice
true.
versa. You know, you're not meant to be alone in your walk with the Lord.
I love that. So, Baron, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Baron, you want to say a little prayer across the board?
Yes.
It could be an Our Father prayer or whatever you feel on your heart, Baron.
Okay, on the spot. If we can say in Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Baron. I'm glad. I know I put you on the spot and did that, but I knew you.
Well,
would
Father
it out.
Tony was on, and he put you on the
He
spot.
sure did.
So we put you on the spot.
So this is the fun of the Smith Sisters Talk Show, and I want to thank you for that prayer, Baron, and thank you, Rhett, for coming,
Well, thanks for having me.
and thanks again to Baron. I know he's still grinning over there because I put him on the spot. He's laughing, but thank you. I'm Gwen,
And I am Crystal.
and thank you for tuning in, listening to the Smith
Sisters Talk Show.
Thank
Don't
you.
forget, every Saturday,
6:30 p.m. until 7 p.m. each Saturday of the month, directly after the Rosary. Thank you.